How to bulk up fast. If you're that skinny guy, just like I was 3 years ago, this video's for you, brother. Just so you know who I am, this is exactly what I look like now. As you can see, I weigh 165 pounds, give or take. But 3 years ago, I weighed 120 pounds. And I went from 120 to 160 in 5 months. In my first 5 months of the gym, I went from 120 to 160. So trust me, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm the exact guy you want to be listening to if your goal is to stop being skinny and finally get big and start getting the physique that you've always dreamed of. I promise that after this video, you are going to know exactly what you have been doing wrong and what exactly you need to work on, improve, implement in your life to achieve that goal. So, one last thing before we get started here. If you want the chance to work one-on-one with me on your fitness journey, DM me coach on my Instagram. I'll put my Instagram link in the description and feel free to give me a DM and we'll see what we can do for you. All right, so let's get into it. There are 4 things that we are going to cover in this video because the step to go from skinny to bulk it's easier said than done. I'm sure you've been there. So the 4 things that we are going to talk about is A, your mindset, which is one of the most, if not the most important thing. It's going to be your diet, your training, and your recovery. So without further ado, let's get into it. When I say mindset, what do I mean? In this video, we're not talking about a lean bulk. Okay, this video, if you want to lean bulk and, this video isn't for a lean bulk. If lean bulk is for people who either have A, way too much time on their hands, or B, they're not in a rush to get somewhere. But if you're skinny, because I remember that when I was skinny, all I wanted was to just stop being skinny. And I would do whatever it took. I just wanted to stop being skinny fast. Because when you're 18, you don't have time. And if you're 18 and you weigh 120 pounds, you do not have time to spend for a year and 2 years lean bulking so that you eventually gain maybe 30 pounds. You do not have that time. You want to stop being skinny as fast as possible so you can actually start the progress on your physique journey. That being said, if you want a lean bulk, real quickly what I'll tell you is just get in a 300-500 calorie surplus. I'll put a calorie calculator in the description. Go there, put your age, name, and whatever info it asks you, and it's going to give you your maintenance weight, your maintenance calories. Just go in a 300-500 above that and you'll be good. This video is for a actual bulk. It's if you want to get big. So the 4 things we're going to cover are your mindset, your diet, your training, and your recovery. They're the 4 biggest pillars that are going to affect your bulk and how effective it is. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first part, mindset. When it comes to your mindset, there are a few things that I want you to take note. First, accept that it will not be easy. You're going to have to force feed yourself. You're going to have to train when you're not willing to train, but you're going to have to be disciplined enough to train. And you're going to have to be disciplined enough to keep going when you're full, when your plate is half full, but you're stuffed. You're going to have to finish that plate. There are a few key things that you need to change in your mindset. This is number 1. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Stop trying to find an easy way to bulk up. If you're 120 and you want to get 160, 170, whatever it is you want to get, if you want to put on 30, 40 pounds, it will not be easy, okay? But the result is absolutely worth it. Second note that I want you to change in your mindset is, and I speak from experience because I was always that skinny kid throughout high school and all of that, and we tend to, and this is something that you're going to realize when you get big, but because we're not big or we're not necessarily that strong, what you are going to realize is that subconsciously you start to compensate for some things. What that means is you start really liking your jawline. You love that you have vascularity and your veins are showing because girls love that, obviously. You love that you have abs without flexing. You just love that about you. But I'm going to be honest with you, brother. If you're skinny, like if you weigh 120, 130 and you have abs, they don't count. You want abs when you're like 160, 170, 180 lean, all right? Depends whatever your height is. But that's when abs are like sick. Or again, when you're 14, 15, having that, being skinny, but if you have abs, that's still a nice look. But brother, 17, 18 above, you want to be strong, you want to be muscular, you want to fill out your shirts, right? Because that's what people find oppressive, that's what people respect, that's what girls like. The reason why I gave you this backstory is because the second point of the mindset is you need to accept that for a certain period of time, whether that's 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, whatever it is, you need to accept that throughout that period of time, you are going to lose your abs, you are going to lose your jawline, you are going to lose your vascularity. But it is all going to be worth it. If you're anything like me, I prefer to suffer for 5, 6 months, but then have the result I want, rather than try to find a way around it that's going to take me 2, 3 years. Is it possible to bulk up without losing all the things I said? Absolutely. But it's going to take you way longer, it's going to require a lot more patience, and you're going to get the result 3 years later. What I'm telling you is exactly what worked for me. I gained 40 pounds in 5 months. So if I were you, I'd listen. That's the second mindset shift you need to make. And the third mindset shift you need to make is you need to be finishing your plate no matter what. You're a grown man. I'm talking to you because I don't see you as a boy anymore. I'm talking to a grown man. You're a grown man. Finish your plate. This should just be a principle that you have. Whatever is on your plate, you finish it. I don't care if you like it, you don't like it, you're full, you're not hungry, whatever it is. You eat it. You put it on your plate and you finish it. Now, this last point is going to be very essential when it comes to the diet, which is exactly the first thing we're going to talk about in the diet section. Finishing your plate. But what does that mean? When you're starting off, you're going to be force feeding yourself. But if you just put your regular portions, then you're not going to be eating more. Sorry, before I forget, last thing when it comes to mindset, the fourth thing, is you need to accept that you have been making excuses this entire time. You can either have results or excuses, not both. Oh, I eat a lot, but I'm still skinny. No, you're not. I used to say the exact same thing when I was in your shoes 3 years ago. And with time, I realized that I was not eating enough. You need to be eating like a cow and training like a bull. We're going to get into what those two mean exactly when we start with the diet right now. Now, the reason why the two last mindset shifts, right? Eating like a cow and you need to be finishing your plate. Reason why those are super key is because if you keep eating the same portion that you've always eaten, well then brother, you are not going to grow. You need to be forcing yourself to eat. What that means is you fill up your plate, whatever it is that you were eating previously. You put like at least 1.5 times that, if not double it, and you are going to sit there until you finish your plate. It's not going to be easy. You're going to force feed yourself. I remember there were days where I sat there and it was just me, my food, and I was deep breathing through it, one bite at a time. There's been times that I have sat there at the dinner table for 35, 40 minutes just to finish my plate. But I did what was required and the results spoke for themselves. Second thing when it comes to your diet, liquid calories. I'm sure you've heard this, but a quick scientific lesson for you if you want to take it that way. But you can ingest a lot more calories in liquid form than solid form. Why? Pretty simple, because solid food takes up more space in your stomach, takes more time for your body to digest it. Whereas liquid calories, protein shakes or whatnot, smoothies, they're a lot easily digestible. So, that being said, take advantage of liquid calories. When I was skinny, what I used to do daily is I would, apart from my 3 or 4 meals that I would have, which I'm already force feeding myself, I would have a protein shake that was 2 scoops of whey protein. So that's around 60 grams of protein with roughly 300 calories. I would make it with milk, so that gave me another 300 calories. I would add a banana, an extra 100 calories. I would add an apple, which is around 50 calories. And I would also put 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. That is already like an 800 calorie shake. And I would have that daily. If you want to go even a step further, you can add oats or you can add olive oil. A tablespoon of olive oil has 200 calories. So you can just add that. The only reason why I didn't do it and why I don't recommend people to do it is it makes it a lot heavier. So it kind of takes away the easy digestible part. It is going to fill you up a lot more because olive oil is pure fat. But again, make a protein shake that you like. Make sure you like the taste, because if not, you're not going to drink it. Make something that you like, that you enjoy drinking, and you can either A, sip on that during the day, or what I used to do is just after my second meal, I would just chug that and then have my third meal, go to bed. That's what I would do. You can play with it whatever you like, but it is a non-negotiable for you to be drinking liquid calories. Third thing, this is something that's actually going to help you out a lot, is when it comes to your diet and training, what you're going to quickly realize on your bulking journey is that it's going to be hardest at the start because your stomach is still small. You need to force feed yourself so that A, your stomach grows, and B, you put on weight. But what you're going to quickly realize is that as you go, you're going to start to get in this cycle. And the cycle is you eat more, you force feed yourself. Because of that, you have more energy, because what is energy? It's food you consume. So you've consumed more food, you're going to have more energy. And because of that, because you have more energy, you're going to train harder. You're going to train more often. And because of that, because you've been spending a lot more energy, you're going to be hungrier. And while at the same time, your stomach is growing because you're forcing it to grow. Put these together, and what happens is within a couple months, if not less than that, you are eating almost double what you were eating when you first started. Because your body needs energy to spend. And your body is spending a lot more energy, so it's become hungrier. And your stomach isn't as small, so you get full a lot less. So it takes a lot more food for you to get full. When you put all these together, putting on weight becomes inevitable. This is exactly what worked for me. Segueing off that, moving on to the third part of today's video, the training portion. You need to be training 4 to 5 times a week. I would say 5 is ideal, and I'll tell you exactly why. If you're training 3 days a week, I'm going to assume you're a beginner. And the reason why is because 3 days a week, don't get me wrong. Is it enough to build muscle? Absolutely. If you're going in there and you're training hard enough, and you're training hard enough, and you're pushing till failure on your sets, you're progressive overloading, you are going to build muscle. But the reason why we want to be training 4 to 5 times is so that we spend more energy. Because again, as you can see, the diet and training are very related. And that's because when you're training 4 to 5 days a week, A, you have more energy. So you want to be training, you want to be spending that energy. And B, you want to aim to work every muscle twice a week. So when I say 5 days a week, what I was doing was push, pull, legs, chest and back, shoulders, arms. I was hitting every muscle group except for legs twice. If you want to be hitting legs twice as well, then you can do push, pull, legs, upper, lower. You can look up those splits, you can see exactly what they are. I'm not going to go in detail what they are, but aim to hit every muscle twice a week. If you can hit legs twice a week as well, amazing. But if you can, it's fine. At least hit it once. Don't skip legs. It's super important. I've mentioned it in another video, and we'll talk about it in another one. But for now, just listen to me. Don't skip legs. You're going to regret it. Which also brings me to the third point, and it's related to the diet again. That is going to be to hit your protein. You need to be, 1 gram per pound of body weight, yes, but you want to up that so that the weight can go to your muscle, so that the calories you're eating can go as much as possible to your muscles. So if you weigh 120 pounds, don't just eat 120 grams. Eat 140, 150, okay? So that way, those calories you're eating, the food you're eating is filling up your muscle first. So that way you can actually get strong, your muscles get bigger, and you don't just become fat, okay? You are still going to put on a little bit of fat, we've covered that, but you're not going to be fat at the end. I'll put up the picture of me again, what I look like 5 months after when I weighed 160. And as you can see, yes, I've lost a lot of definition, but I'm not necessarily fat, because if you're 120, if you're like that skinny, 120, 130, it takes a lot of Like, you need to be trying to get fat at that point. The only way you'll get fat is if you're not working out. So that's the training portion covered. Hit every muscle group twice a week and train 5 days a week so that you're spending energy so that you can actually be hungrier. What you're going to realize very quickly is that your body is going to adapt very fast. Once you start to get in that wheel, your only goal right now, brother, is to get into that wheel. The wheel of forcing yourself to eat so that you train more, you have more energy, and that you spend that energy so you're hungrier. Because you're hungrier, you eat more, and on and on and on. Once you get into that wheel, once that cycle starts, it becomes a cakewalk. But until you actually get there, it's going to take about a couple weeks, 3 weeks, a month at max. So I need you to keep your chin up until then and accept that, like we said, it will not be easy. The final point of today's video on this how to bulk up fast guide is recovery. Real quickly, 2 things I'm going to talk about. A, your rest time between your sets. Rest between 2 to 3 minutes between your sets. Because if you're training properly, like I've told you to, you are going to be retraining until failure on most of your sets. What that means is that your muscle needs to recover. 2-3 minutes, take a little bit longer if you need. Do not be that guy that's resting for 15 minutes. But take a little bit longer, whatever you feel like your muscle needs. And trust me, another thing, if you're resting less than a minute 30, then you didn't push the previous set hard enough. Because if you actually pushed your muscle to failure or very close to failure, there is no way you can do another set within a couple minutes. And the last point on today's video when it comes to recovery is going to be sleep. You need to be sleeping 7 to 9 hours daily so that A, you recover, your muscles recover, and B, you're a young guy, you need to be sleeping. That's what your body needs. And especially for digestion, it helps a lot. And testosterone and everything, you need to be sleeping. All right, brother? Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, if there's something else that you want me to talk about. I'll link my Instagram in the description. Give me a follow on there. I'm always posting fitness tips, content, all that stuff. And you can DM me, coach, if you want a chance for one-on-one mentorship with me directly. Subscribe, leave a comment, and like the video. See you on the next one.